Our final inductee is George Boiardi, and it's truly a pleasure for me to introduce Jeff Tambroni, who will present George's induction. Jeff spent 10 years as the head coach of the Big Red from 2001 to 2010. He guided the Big Red to an amazing record of 109 wins against 40 losses and 3 NCAA Final Four appearances, 2007, 2009, and 2010, including the 2009 NCAA Championship game. Jeff was the USILA Division I Coach of the Year following the 2009 season. I'm thrilled that Jeff could be here with us, coming up from State College, where he's the head lacrosse coach at Penn State. And Jeff, I welcome you to the podium to induct George. Thank you.
It's good to be home in so many ways. I'm going to get emotional tonight, I know that, and I'd like to first just congratulate all the other inductees. This is always a thrill for me to sit and listen to the Cornell Athletics Hall of Fame. Just an amazing night to sit through and listen to all the accomplishments and the history of such a great athletic department. I'd like to thank Mr. Noel for allowing me to be a part of this evening tonight. I would like to thank the Cornell Athletics Hall of Fame committee for just getting this one right as a first ballot Hall of Famer. There are really no words that I'm going to be able to put together here tonight that are going to accurately describe the significance of the impact of George Boiardi. I often attempt to make sense of the events that took place on Chocoff Field back on March 17, 2004. I am often comforted by the fact and the blessing and the gift that God and the Boiardi family provided all of us in their son. It was in George's life which galvanized the Cornell lacrosse team, galvanized our athletic department, and galvanized our community like no other. I will attempt to shed some light on why George is being honored here today through a pebble, through a boulder, and through my grandmother's marinara sauce. I'm an Italian, and my father always says everything's a little bit better with marinara sauce. So. As an athlete, George had no equal. He was strong, hardworking, and the fastest athlete at Cornell for over a decade. As a player, however, George, and I will paraphrase the word of teammate Ian Rosenberger, he had the hands of stone. Now, if he was being inducted in the Boxing Hall of Fame, this would be a compliment. And for lacrosse, this was not necessarily a compliment. The significance of George's impact had little to do with his ability to run like a deer or hit like a truck, rather in the simplicity of his core values. This was George's secret sauce. Now, I'm 44 years old, and I still have not been able to figure out my grandmother's secret sauce. But with George, it was simplicity. His 3 core values, and over 22 years of coaching, I've seen this in every great team and every great individual that's become a leader. George had a fighting spirit, and not just a will to fight, but he had a clenching fist, fighting spirit that separated himself from those that he competed with. George had an undeniable loyalty to his family, to his friends, to his teammates, and it is now in many ways the standard by which we measure ourselves in our daily lives. George had selfless compassion for those who came in his path, and I can say without hesitation that he genuinely cared about us more than he did himself. No one would be more uncomfortable with this honor than George. I would guess he probably wore about a size 10 back in the day, but the footprint that he left on this earth was made for a giant. Those of us who walked even one stride with George grateful for his impact, for his time. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, my lacrosse coach, Coach Brown, used to tell us if we wanted to find the true essence of true leaders, we should follow the king's story told in ancient times. He would proceed by telling us a story about a king who placed a boulder in the middle of the street. And he walked off the street and hid behind the tree because he wanted to see the way his people would respond. The first group of people walked by the boulder, walked by the obstacle, and they completely ignored it. The king found this a little bit disturbing. The second group of people walked by, they noticed the boulder, and then they proceeded to complain about the obstruction and even pointed the blame at the king and others, but did nothing to remove the boulder and walked away. The king found this even more disturbing. Finally, a farmer walked past the boulder, recognized the obstacle. After some silent reflection, he decided that he would remove this boulder from the street. Underneath the boulder, he found a bag of coins lying in the street. The farmer picked up the coins, then walked into town and laid those coins at the feet of the homeless man. The king was rejuvenated by what he had witnessed, and the legacy of this farmer still lives in that land the same way as George's legacy lives here today. Like all great leaders of our generation, George led for others, not for his own reward. We are here tonight to honor a man of significance, not a man for his success. After 25 years of hearing this story from Coach Brown, I am now reminded of this farmer. And to me, his name was George. I used to sit on the dock of a place called Sandy Pond when I was a kid. And my brothers and I used to throw pebbles into the pond. The pebbles wouldn't make a disturbance, like a look at me kind of a disturbance, but it would carry a message to shore that would be worth repeating over and over and over again because of the significance of the impact of that pebble. The people who have showed up here tonight to honor George and countless others continue to carry George's waves to shore, and these waves continue to grow stronger a decade after his passing. Those waves still carry his messages, messages of hope, messages of love, messages of leadership, messages of passion, messages of friendship, and the three essential core ingredients of the simplicity of George's legacy: his spirit to fight, his undeniable loyalty, and his selfless compassion to others and service over self. From young boy, from Landon High School to the Cornell Athletics Hall of Fame, he was soft-spoken, he was humble, he was a hard-working young man. It was truly not what you expected from the warrior-like image that he portrayed from the playing field. After all this, I can only help but smile when I look out here this evening and see the reflection of George's life as the mirror of his legacy continues to be carried ashore today. It's in the reflection of his former teammates, many who are here tonight, who embody George's spirit, George's loyalty, and George's compassion through the Boiardi Foundation and through their daily lives. It can be seen in the hearts of the 2004 coaching staff: Ben DeLuca, Tom Holly, Pat Dutton. All who possess the same passion, but compassion to serve. It is revealed in the beauty, the strength, the hope, and love of George's two sisters, Caroline and Elena, both here tonight. Most of all, as as you look into the eyes of George's parents, yes, you may still see the pain of George's absence. But you will also see his spirit, his love, and the true essence of George's life will be on display. It is as bright today as it's ever been, and it will never die in the hearts and souls of Mr. and Mrs. B. Classmate Ian Rosenberg said it best in an interview with ESPN shortly after George passed. When he answered, "If I am lucky enough to have a son someday, I hope he grows up to be just like George." Accepting the honor tonight for George will be sisters Caroline and Elena. It is It is the ultimate honor to present for induction into Cornell University's Athletics Hall of Fame, Mario St. George Boiardi, class of 2008.
Thank you, Coach Tambroni. You were the one who gave George the chance to play the game that he loved. And bear with me, I kind of do my best. My name is Caroline Boiardi, and this is my sister Lena. And our brother George was the pickle in the middle. George will be the first to say that this is not about him, but about all the people who helped him meet his challenges along the way. His decision to attend Cornell was not easily made. As with all that he said and did, choosing a lacrosse program that embodied his core values, which were very mature for a young man, took careful thought. After some weeks of going back and forth, in part because of his fond memories of parading with his father with a tiger tail tied around his waist, Cornell became the greatest chapter of his life. Once George told my parents, our parents, he would commit to Cornell, my mother immediately decorated our dinner table with red placemats, red napkins, red candlesticks, red glasses, red plates, and my father happily replaced this orange and black with everything, I mean everything red. The excitement was not only because George would be studying at one of the best universities, but also because he knew he had chosen a cross family of hardworking, genuine, caring individuals. George loved his days at Cornell, there's no question. Not only attending his classes and practices, but skateboarding through the plantations and down Buffalo Street. Imagine that. Diving into Beebe Lake and listening to reggae while on the roof of ATO. His teachers inspired him, his coaches pushed him, particularly Ben DeLuca, and his friends embraced him. He worked very hard to attain his goals as a student and an athlete. He was so appreciative of the opportunities that were presented to him and was aware of the importance of giving thanks and giving back. He would be truly humbled by this recognition and would give thanks for all of you, his teachers, his coaches, his teammates, many of whom are here tonight, and to all of you who came his way. We are happy to accept this award on behalf of our family. In honor of George.